Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This is Football. Welcome to another transfer news show. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we find ourselves talking about Arsenal Football Club because, to be fair, they've probably been the most active football club currently in the transfer window. I don't know what's going on with my hat. Can you please look better on camera? Thank you. Everyone watching us right now or on the replay, please do not forget to slap that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to This is Football if you're ready to do so. We have hit 14.5k subscribers. Thank you so much, my people. Make sure you continue subscribing, continue sharing the videos as well. YouTube is telling me you guys are sharing it at record rates for the channel. So keep sharing the videos on your groups, on your Facebook, to whoever, you know, to your uncle that supports Arsenal. Keep sharing the videos. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing. And today the topic is Jurriën Timber. Today the topic is Declan Rice, Havertz. I want to touch on Lavia as well. So it's on all Arsenal video. And of course, introducing the panelists. Of course, I could sit here and I could talk about Arsenal for an hour, but you guys would want that. You guys want the Arsenal celebrity in here. So, back by popular demand, the comment section have for sure now known his name, no longer calling him that Arsenal guy. Where's that Arsenal guy? We want him back. They're no longer saying that. Now they actually know him by name. So joining us on the channel, of course, he gets irritated when I call him a tactico, so I'm going to call him the Arsenal tactico. Joining us on this channel right now, man like Karan. How are you doing, my brother?
Hello, brother. I'm good. What an intro! You do know your intros. I'll give you that. So, yeah, all calm on the old Arsenal front. Just relaxed. Let's just talk some timber and then get into whatever else you want to get into. So, looking forward to this for sure.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And of course, making his debut today, as you guys saw in the announcement. You know, on This is Football, we like giving people opportunities. I tweeted out, guys, this channel is growing. I need more fans. And you see how quick the opportunity comes. I may be a Liverpool fan, but I don't move like Liverpool Football Club, where I wait 5 years to sign a player. I sign immediately. I sent him the contract. He signed on the dotted line. And today he's making his debut on This is Football. Also, an Arsenal fan. Joining us for the first time, please comment section, make sure you welcome in man like Hendrix. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thank you for the invite, and yeah, just wanted to say long time viewer, so pleasure to be on, man.
No worries. I appreciate you, Hendrix. Big up to you. Football for All says, would you be happy with Thuram and Lavia? Football for All, thank you for the super chat. I would assume that's a question aimed at me, not at the Arsenal guests, because they're not linked to Thuram. Come back at 11:30 or at 11, inshallah, because I'm going to be doing a Liverpool stream today. Make sure you stay tuned for that one, because it's going to be, you know, we're going to be hitting the hard-hitting reality in that video, you know, as per usual. That's what we do on this channel. So stay locked in, and thank you for the super chat. Make sure you guys are slapping the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribing, and let's just get into it. Karan, let me start with you. Timber. We just touched on it. We barely scraped the surface last time on Jurriën Timber. So let's kind of go a little bit more in depth. What's your whole thought process on this Timber transfer?
I mean, for the value you're getting him for what, 40 mil odd, maybe 45 at a stretch. You're getting a Netherlands international, very good versatility between right centre back and right back. The ability to come into midfield, not to invert as sort of people are seemingly calling out in terms of like a right back inverted, but he doesn't have the running power to provide that overlap. So he's not going to go up and down like Ben White does. He's more going to solve issues in build up and really be that more secure member of your defense that is going to be able to play, yes, right back, but more predominantly right centre back. If anything, this is the transfer that puts Rob Holding out to pasture, and he'll move on next summer, this summer. That's the main thing. And he's someone that gives you in possession some of the best around, just in ability just to pop passes about and really help with your build up. But the main thing is you're not going to have Holding playing for us anymore, and that's the main thing for us. I think that's what kind of ruined our chances. Well, not ruined, but kind of helped contribute to the downfall after going to that West Ham game, after Anfield and all this. So there's a lot still to do, but in terms of getting someone in that will get into what we've been trying to say, Arsenal is getting a squad of 15 to 17 players that you can bring in at any point. That's what we want. We want to be able to have a squad that has the depth to go, okay, we can play two lineups. We can do different things. We can play with a 3 at the back or 4 at the back. We can play with different systems. And what he gives you is the ability to be that wide centre back. He's better in a 3 as well. So it's interesting to see him and Havertz come in, as I was saying on the last stream. So having him and Havertz together gives you the option of going with something like a 3-4-3, which is having Havertz in that sort of 10 role where he can be a bit more creative, making his runs in behind. So it gives you a different option and a different way of finishing games even. So if you need to be a bit more aggressive and you want to throw on an extra attacker as in Havertz, you'd also bring off a defender and go 3-4-3, and therefore you can just really push your opposition back. So it's good for changing the game state within games, but it's also good for rotation. So I'm happy with it. And for the price that we're getting him at, you're getting a player that's going to be able to contribute for the next 5 to 7 years easily, and then still have years left on his prime. So very happy with it.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think he's going to invert into midfield like John Stones at City? Or do you think it's going to be completely different?
I personally think his primary role will be as a right centre back in a 3. I think that's where I see him at. Personally, from what I've seen of him, I don't think he has the ability to do what Ben White does, as it go from right back into midfield and then go on the outside again. Does he have that ability? I don't see it as much, because the thing is, his crossing isn't the greatest and his long passing isn't really, he lofts his balls a bit too much. Like they have to get too much air. He's not someone that's going to like ping it across with pace. He's more of a lofted kind of player. So I would think of him more being participating more in the first phase of play. So like from building out and making sure that we have that security to go forward and get it into midfield. Would I say he's going to invert? I would say when we play with the 3 at the back and White comes inside, that's kind of what his role is going to be. If we just play at right back, I think it will be as a right back that comes into the 3 instead of a right back that goes up into and we have 2 of the players at the back. You'll have, for example, Gabriel Saliba, Timber, Rice, and maybe Zinchenko in the middle, and then say Havertz, Ødegaard, Marcelo Saka, and Jesus. That kind of system going forward. So that's kind of where I see him. He's more of a third centre back than a right back that goes into midfield. That's your answer to your question.
Okay, I hear you. Hendrix, my brother, talk to me about Timber. What's your thoughts on the transfer?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, given our track record in not being able to secure the talent we usually go for, I've kind of sort of ignored everything and just, waiting on for him to be posing with the t-shirt. But overall, he seems like a very, very good player on the ball, which is what Arteta, first and foremost is looking out for. He's, as Karen said, a much, much improved player compared to Rob Holding. Yeah, I mean, everything, what's not to like so far? You can only judge so much off of just clips on YouTube, and the Premier League is a different beast at the end of the day. But so far so good. I mean, it looks like a really tidy player. So yeah, buzzing with it so far. Yeah.
Okay. So the guys are happy with the transfer. I kind of feel the same way as well. I wish we signed him. You guys know earlier on this summer, we were talking about him. I know for a fact Liverpool were linked to Timber. I think Timber, of course, is a massive upgrade on Rob Holding, because I think that's kind of what they're looking at right now. You look at Saliba, you look at Gabriel, both had an incredible season this year. They played really well for Arsenal as well. So their problem was when kind of Rob Holding came in, there was a little bit of a fall off, in terms of form, the way they played football. I don't think you could blame it all on Rob Holding, but he was definitely part of it because the quality just went down a little bit. So when you have someone like Timber who can come in there, make a difference for you, make a impact, I think that is a major positive. So I think this signing would be an incredible signing for Arsenal. Look at the price tag as well. In the current market, 40 million is essentially like 10 million from 10 years ago. So it's an incredible signing. But I don't know how he'll fit in the starting 11 though. I don't know if Arteta
Not every
has a
signing
plan
has
for
to
him
be
in
a
the
starting
starting
11 signing though, Hussam. And this is the thing. We need to. Mikel at the end of this past season kept saying, "I've used the squad poorly," and that's kind of contributed to our downfall. And I think we've seen that. The same with Havertz. These aren't guys that are going to be starting week in, week out. You look at guys like KDB. You look at guys like Foden or like the City guys. They all play like 20 games. They don't play 35, 38 games. We need to start using our squad more. And I think obviously Rice will be that starter. And if we do have time, we'll get into that. But the main thing is improve the ceiling of our squad in terms of starting 11 players, but also raise the floor so we don't have to depend on those starting 11 players constantly. And that's what the agenda of this window is going to be, and it has to be, because otherwise we're just going to be in this constant loop of first 11 great, squad being crap, first 11 great, first squad being crap. And we have to get out of that zone. It has to be 15, 17, maybe 19 players of senior quality that all can come in and do a job in multiple roles. So, yeah.
Yeah, personally, I think what Arteta is trying to do is basically replicate what City is doing. If you look at their centre backs or their defenders, I'll give you 5 of them: Ake, Diaz, Stones, Laporte, and Akanji. We're sort of trying to build a poor man's version of that. They're not on that exact level. I'm not going to be crazy and big up Arsenal too much, but yeah, I mean, it's always nice to have the option of having someone you can rely on and step in and actually meet the demands that are required of you in a system like Arteta's. Yeah.
And the thing is, you have to look at it this way. And you said something earlier about holding not being the entire reason. There's never one reason in football. If you try and isolate things down to one reason, inexperience played a role, lots of things played a role in what happened. And I think Arteta's realized that, and he's realized that this summer, if you don't go and check things in terms of doing both the things I just said, increasing the level of your starting 11 to get on a par with a City, but also raising the floor so you can play against Bournemouth and not have to play, or whoever down the table, Luton, whoever, and not have to play every single starter every single game, and still think you can win quite comfortably. That's the way I think this window is going to have to go. And it looks like we're going to do both things, and we're going to attack it early as well. Which is,
do you think Timber would accept being a squad player though?
I think we need to get out of this mentality of squad players though, because if you look at City, you don't have people who come in to play however many minutes that you get. You earn your minutes on the pitch. Like, I don't think he'll say, "Oh, you're definitely going to be on the bench." He'll say, "Look, you can earn your starting spot. If you want to start, you have to earn it." And that's all. That's the mentality, and that's the culture that it's going to have.
Karan, the reason I ask you that is some people have Timber as their starting right back next season for Arsenal Football Club. So what they're saying is essentially it's going to be Timber, Zinchenko, and the 2 centre backs.
I think people haven't really watched Timber in that case, because him as a right back has never been his best position. Why would we be signing someone to play out of position when they've tried to play that position and not been as successful as their best position? I don't think that's really...
Did you just ask why are we starting someone to play out of position? Do you know how not contradictory that is about our last video?
I know.
Kai Havertz,
I know. But the thing is, what did I say last video? I think we're going to create Havertz's position. Havertz doesn't even know his own position. Like, how are we you're gonna say Havertz is playing out of position? He doesn't even know his own position. Is he a 9? Is he a 10? What is he? So we're going to have to try and create a position for him. And this is why I think Timber is so important, is because it allows Havertz to be in between the lines, in between the half spaces, really roaming and making sure that he can be doing what he's good at, which is attacking into the box, making those runs, trying to get cutbacks, trying to maybe get a tap in or something like this, instead of having to try and go up against centre backs constantly and back to into the centre backs and just sort of try and big himself up. He's 6'4", but he's not strong to do that. He's not Lukaku. He's not going to be someone that's going to bully centre backs. He needs to find his own spaces, and we're very good at doing that. So what Timber gives you is that three at the back, got in possession, that allows you to push Havertz into roles that he's more comfortable in. And that's why I push back on the whole playing out of position thing, because Havertz doesn't have a position at this moment in time. He's been playing out of position himself. So,
according to Chelsea fans, he's a false footballer. That's his position.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, Chelsea have false attackers. They don't foster good attacking talent. What's Drogba's best Premier League goal tally? Like these are things we have to bring up. Like it's not something that Chelsea go.
29.
It's not a thing. Chelsea attackers go to Chelsea to die. That's what happens. You don't foster at Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree.
Fernando Torres,
You can
these
fact
guys
it.
don't really foster attacking talent like that. That's not even bad. It's just truth. Why would a Fernando Torres 50 million? Like these
Torres
all,
was such a heartbreak, man. Such a heartbreak.
so
I mean, the list goes
I'm
on.
saying,
Yeah.
like I'm not going to take Chelsea's fan opinion on attackers. I'm sorry, you're signing Nicholas Jackson. Have fun with that. That I don't know what that's about. So
They're picking him up, to be fair.
let them big him up. He scored like I think 60% of his goals in the last 10 games when nothing was on the line. Fair enough. If that's what gets you a 38 million pound signing, that's fine. But for me, I just think that if I'm going to focus on Arsenal, and I focus on what we can do with our signings. So what we can do is we can put positions into people in position to succeed, and that's what Timber and Havertz do as a combination, because they give you a more defensive back line as to allow Havertz to have a bit more freedom in the attacking roles, and that's how you function as a pair. So it'll be interesting, and I think with Emil coming back in that left centre mid, he'll have a different way of doing things. We have squad players that will start to work into different roles, and this is why I'm more confident in terms of going into next season than I was without the as we talked about last stream, the contracts, the early work that we're doing in the window. I'm sure that hopefully Rice will be done soon, and then we'll get into this guy, Timber, and whoever else. I mean, we've seen Xavi Simons links today, so let's see what happens. There's a lot to do. But I'm
Really, you're linked to Xavi Simons today.
Yeah, linked to Xavi Simons today.
I mean, he's the perfect Arteta prototype, isn't he? I mean, when you look at his stats and with his profile,
send it to you?
So it makes sense.
Yeah, please do. Go on, Hendrix. What you're saying?
Yeah, I'd like to just focus on Timber for a second. If you remember, Hussam, when you lot signed Fabinho a couple of years ago, and the treatment he got from Klopp, he didn't start every game. He was kind of held back and made to watch and learn, I guess. I think that's going to be a similar thing for Timber this season. There's going to be a time where he's going to have to step up, and there might be injuries, there might be a lack of match fitness for certain players. I reckon by then he'll eventually be better than, but I don't think he's coming in straight away to take over anyone's place. He's got to, the same with Ramsdale. He's got to come and fight for that spot when the opportunity lands. Make that land that blow and make the most of it. So that's what I personally think. But it's interesting to hear your take as well.
Starts for Arsenal, Hendrix?
No, not immediately. No. I mean, he's got the quality to. I think the key word here is potential. This guy's got the potential to be a monster. I'd even go as far as saying, on the ball, he might even be better than Saliba. But we'll just have to wait and see, from the clips I've seen. But, you can never really judge anyone on clips. But,
no.
Yeah, man, he seems like a top baller.
I'll tell you what, though, his short passing and his sort of way of like popping it about in the first third is very good. The way Saliba has over him, Saliba's long passing is much better, and he's much better in terms of composure in basically shoving people off the ball in possession. Whereas Timber's much more combative. He uses his smaller stature just to sort of weave in and out of players. So I personally would have Saliba just like on every metric. I think he's one of the best in the world. So for me,
absolutely,
like that is who I would have starting. And in terms of White or Timber, I think they do very different things. I think White is trying to develop that overlap, and he's getting better and better, and his crossing has actually become quite underrated in terms of what people say about him. I think he's actually a decent crosser. It's just that we haven't got the back post on the left, which is what Havertz will actually provide, ironically, because Martinelli usually comes inside and goes into the centre of the goal to try and get that penalty box sort of fox in the box type of finishes, whereas Havertz is sort of more of a back post header. So I think we'll actually see goals from White to Havertz, actually, thinking about it now. But in terms of what he provides,
Karen, that's the guy you're speaking on, Ben White. that a lot of the guys in your fan base are like, that's the place we need to strengthen. That's why they're saying essentially.
Let me ask you this, and I'll comment as well. Tell me if I'm being ridiculous. How many right backs are better than Ben White in this league right now? I'm not saying he's top whatever. Give me your answer. I'm not saying
how many are better than Ben White. I'd say Walker. I'd say United don't have any. I'd say Reece James, Trent. Who else? Trippier.
You could make a case for Trippier, yeah.
And I wouldn't think of anyone else, to be honest with you.
How much has Walker played this season?
Walker's played a lot. Maybe like overall, maybe 35 games.
This is, but in the league.
Oh, in the league, I have no idea how much.
He hasn't played that. He hasn't played as many as you'd think. Remember, Rico Lewis was there for a time. Like they rotated a lot. On the
John Stones right back.
John Stones right back. You know what I mean? Like hasn't played as much as you would think in the league. I personally think that Kyle Walker is one of the greatest Premier League right backs we've seen. So there's no doubt of his quality. But you're looking at Ben White and you're saying that there's only 4, and Reece James is constantly injured, and Trippier is not exactly the youngest either. So we're looking at maybe top 2, top 3. And you're saying we have to improve on that. That's the position we have to improve. I think for me, it's the right centre back that needs to improve, because Ben White can slot there, but Ben White right now is our right back. I would say the right centre back has to improve, and that's where Timber comes in. And he is a better centre back than right back. I agree with this, but then you have to choose: do you want to buy an out and out right back or an out and out centre back? I think Timber is a mold between the two, and that's what makes him so good, because he allows us to play different systems, and you can play with a 3 at the back or a 4 at the back without Ben White or with Ben White, which is interesting. And I think that's why we've signed him, because it gives us more options, much more options. Personally, I think the right back Timber thing is I think people have gone a bit too far with it. I don't know really. I've seen him play right back, because I just literally, all I've done, I'm going to be honest, all I've done is I looked at like an hour and a half on Y-Scout. That was me. I just looked at a bunch of clips on Y-Scout, looked at all his actions, and that's all I know on it. But from what I've seen, like his passing ability, tackling, etc., I would put him at a centre back, because we have, especially with Gabriel, because Gabriel more aerially dominant, more aggressive in his duel winning, etc. Timber much more better ball playing, the ability you can partner players up together like this, and that's where I think is the main thing. Barella is not coming to Liverpool. I can tell you that right now.
Okay, chill.
Come back at 10 o'clock.
This is an Arsenal show. We're not about to do this. This is an Arsenal show. Leave my pain for the late night shows. Yeah, leave my pain for the late night shows. We're not about to do this. I'm going to stop you right there, because my pain is not a joke on this stream. Big up everyone who's watching us right now. We have 130 people watching us. We're talking about Timber currently. We're going to talk about as well, what's his name? Lavia as well, because there was a conversation about him.
Want to talk about Lavia though.
Yes, I want to get into it. I want to talk about Xavi Simons, because Karen mentioned them. And of course, the typical two that you guys have probably heard us speak on 300 million times, which is Havertz and Rice. Everyone watching us right now, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel if you're ready to do so. It's a free button, you bozos. Slap that like button. Subscribe to the channel right now. Keep letting us know your opinions in the comment section down below. We're getting involved with as many as possible. So yeah, please like the video. Please subscribe. It helps out the channel. Big up to Twin, who says maybe Timber replaces Zinchenko. Oh, 4 center backs like City. That's a plot.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say replace him outright, but I see what he's going with it. I think, where you've got a Kanji stepping in for certain games, where Pep might need a little bit more physicality and, while at the same time keeping that, someone who's actually good on a ball. I think that's the kind of role we'll go for. But outright replacing him, I think that's a bit far-fetched.
The one thing I would say to this is, if you know Arteta at all,
Wait, so is he saying like Timber to play on the left then?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what I was going to say.
That low-key could work.
That's if you know Mikel at all, if you know Arteta at all, he is obsessed with what foot you are. He's obsessed with it. He doesn't like he waited till it was absolutely incredibly desperate to play Kiwior on the right. Like, he will not do it. He refuses, and that's why I don't think this is very viable. Because if you look at how Timber receives on the left, he usually takes it with his right foot, and he kind of pushes the ball away from him before kind of resetting and getting into his passing actions or to carry it or do whatever he does. But I would suggest that Kivior could do that role. I think that's something that could be interesting. Kivior as a left back. If you want to do 4 centre backs, you could do, for example, Kivior, Gabriel, Saliba, and White. That might be something you can do, or you can do White, Timber, Saliba, and Gabriel, maybe, or something like this. You can mix and match because I think Gabriel's channel defending allows him to be that sort of out and out wide defender as well. You can be a much more you can be a more defensive cover defender as well. But if you're looking at a left back that's going to be a centre back, I would more think is more likely is Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu has played left back, as Salah knows, locked him up quite nicely at the Emirates.
This is your second shot, Karan, and I'm being a nice host. I haven't said nothing.
I'm being. Look, I even laughed. It's just a joke. Relax. So yeah, Tomiyasu is more on this one. But let's talk about Lavia. Come on. It's not everything. Arsenal. I'll let you talk about Liverpool for a bit. Let's talk about Romeo Lavia because I know you.
Yeah, let's touch on Lavia. Big up to you, 20. Here's the thing with this whole Lavia conversation. I don't know. I saw earlier on. Big up to Clock and H. He's actually one of the guys I speak to on Spaces as well. So big up to him, saying that Lavia is better off going to Arsenal than to Liverpool, and Arsenal is a more attractive club. Blah blah blah. I don't want to get into that. I want to talk about more Lavia the player because I actually have a massive plot twist, and I'm going to look at it from a completely different angle. I don't think Lavia takes Arsenal to where they want to go, but I think he takes Liverpool to where they want to go.
Correct.
Because this is what I'll say. Lavia is not an upgrade on Partey. He's not an upgrade on Xhaka. Lavia is an upgrade on Henderson, on Ox, on Keita, on every single player at Liverpool Football Club not called Thiago. He's an upgrade. That is the situation for us. I think Lavia would come into Liverpool and directly become a starter because of how shit everyone else is. At Arsenal Football Club, essentially, he's going in there to become a squad player. Let's just say it as it is, because if what Tactical Karan is saying, that's my first shot, is correct, then
you'll look back. Don't worry.
The double pivot is essentially going to be Havertz and Rice. That's what he thinks the double pivot's going to be, at least against the weaker teams. At least against the weaker teams.
The double pivot would be probably Rice and Ødegaard and Havertz higher. That's probably what it would be if it was a 3.
Didn't you say Havertz on the left last time?
Yeah, Havertz is on the left, Rice deeper in the 6, and Ødegaard on the right. So Rice, Ødegaard, and then Havertz in front.
So you're going Havertz basically. You're taking Havertz further up than Ødegaard?
Correct. Yes. If that is the way you put it. The thing is,
but don't you think Havertz that would push back negatively against Ødegaard? Bro, he had 15 non-penalty goals.
This is why I'm saying you are going to have to make sure that you have a more defensive right side, which is why Timber is being brought in. Which is why I keep saying that Timber would allow you to play Havertz higher up and push Ødegaard even higher because you have a more aggressive right centre back that can run into midfield. That's the point. That's where you get the 4 from. So my thing was always Havertz as a left centre midfielder, but higher, like a second striker in a 4.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but don't you think that damages what Ødegaard's doing?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're looking to upgrade.
He was your best player though this year. Why would you limit that? You know what you remind me of? You remind me of Pep Linders when he put Salah to hug the touchline this season.
I mean, no. Because the thing is, what you're looking at is still pushing Ødegaard higher up than you probably think, because you're having the right centre back push into midfield instead of going wide. If the right centre back was wide, then Ødegaard would be screwed because he'd have to do all the work on the right hand side. But if the right centre back goes into midfield, you still have the 4, and then the right back can go high. That's the point, because the right back is high and the right centre back is in midfield, so you still have the 4. So Ødegaard isn't going to be like on the centre line; he's still going to be in the final third. So you're not really having that loss of his functionality, because the whole point is you still have people crashing the box. We're one of the best teams at having players crash the box constantly in the whole of Europe. Actually, we're up there with Bayern Munich. So that's the point.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying this is my logic, right? My logic is Odegaard is probably Arsenal's best player this year, alongside Saka. It's one or two, those two. Is
I
that
mean,
that's
yeah,
Yeah,
fair?
I mean, you wouldn't
I would
be.
put Saka personally, but I can hear
Yeah,
it.
you
I
could
heard
take
you.
one or two. You know.
Yeah, but you
So
Yeah,
wouldn't
I'm
be
my
not,
thing
I'm
is,
not saying
that, in my
not top
opinion.
two.
Yeah,
I'm saying I would personally have Saka because of what he's done
yeah,
in
but you
what
agree with top two, right?
yeah, of course, yeah,
So you'd have Odegaard second minimum.
yeah,
That's fair. Okay,
yeah.
so my thing is like Odegaard has had an unbelievable season.
Mhm.
I don't know why you'd move him back
But we're not. That's the
essentially
point.
fit in Havertz.
But we're not. That's the point. We're
But you
not at
can't
all.
have them both play that role.
no.
It
No.
won't work.
Personally, I see
Havertz will
Havertz.
be
I
on the
see
left.
Havertz. Yeah,
Yeah,
if
go
I
on.
just go 1 second. Yeah, personally, I think we're gonna sort of keep what we had last season, where you've got the 5 players in the opposition box, right? Starting from Martinelli on the left, Saka on the right.
Mhm.
You've got your Erdegaard and Xhaka. It was right. I
Mhm.
think Havertz is going to slot into that position where Xhaka is, but in a way, he's going to be relieved of all of those defensive duties. I think, depending on who we bring in, I think, yeah, he won't be going back as much, and him and Erdegaard at the same time would obviously be in tandem going and attacking, and it wouldn't be one person would be further than the other, if you know what I mean. They'd both be linking up and doing their magic, and yeah, leaving the defensive issues to hopefully a Declan Rice and a party,
Yeah,
or
that's
yeah,
yeah.
take your pick. That's what I think
But
personally.
That
then
is
you're
it's
asking
very
too
well
much of
put.
Declan Rice, though. That's the problem. You're
We
asking
are.
Declan Rice to essentially mark an entire area by himself.
No, but he
Not
wouldn't obviously be
essentially.
there on
I
his own.
mean,
You've got the centre back stepping in. You've got like what
yes.
Zinchenko does on the side. Timber could potentially be, relieving some of the stress over there. You've got, like I said, if Partey stays and we don't manage to, get rid of him, he would be there alongside Rice in some capacity. So it wouldn't all be placed on
If it's
Declan
Rice and
Rice's shoulders.
Partey, I agree with you. If it's
Yeah,
Rice,
and that would
Havertz,
be
and
insane.
Odegaard, I think Rice is gonna
Right.
have to do too much work. Honest to
All
God.
right.
Right.
Let's make it very simple, okay?
Yes.
Very
go on.
simple. So if you look at any Arsenal game, we try and keep players in the opposition half, correct? We try and make sure
Right.
that we're playing in the opposition half. We're
And
not
then-
playing in our own
right.
half, we're playing in their half. We're trying to
Right.
keep the press high, keep the line high. Right?
Right.
So say on the centre line, you have, let's just to visualize it. On the centre line, you'll have Saliba and Gabriel. Gabriel usually pushes a little bit higher, and Saliba usually works as that cover defender on the last line. So Gabriel will push a little bit higher, and then in a 3, you'll have Zinchenko, Rice, and whoever the other one is, whether it be Ben White, Timber, or whoever you want to put there, or an auxiliary defensive midfielder, and you have a 3. And what has been said already, which is correct, you have Martinelli, Havertz, Jesus, Erdegaard, and Saka. And the thing is with Havertz is he is able to basically provide a sort of he can run into the box as an underlap. He can also go over and provide the width on the outside for cutbacks, which is what Xhaka used to do. So this is my thing. I think that we'll play in. You're not having anyone mark on their own because say the second line has 3 men in it. So this is the thing. So you're not. The thing is, you're not sacrificing. You're not changing Erdegaard's role at all. You're making sure that you have that your other midfielder is more attacking and has more instincts to be that sort of second striker /10, whatever you want, to crash the box and to basically be that sort of auxiliary midfielder that can be a bit more attacking and get us more goals from midfield. And that's the way it's going to work.
On Hendricks.
Yeah, well, I kind of see what you're trying to say there, and I'm inclined to agree with you. If you just focus on Xhaka, for example, now, and that position there, I think, he's always bursting in with his late runs and making that final additional body into the box that we wouldn't usually have. If you place Havertz there instead, and, like you said, view him as a second striker, essentially sweeping in and picking up any loose balls, rebounds, whatever. That's the kind of role I see him sort of, taking. And I don't honestly, I wouldn't say anything like he's here to sacrifice Erdegaard or anything, or Erdegaard is still the guy, will be the guy. Saka is still the guy, will be the guy. I think the team will pretty much offensively stay the same. apart from, Xhaka being gone and Havertz stepping in. I think if anything, it's just going to add a new dimension to us going forward.
All this does is quite simply allows us to play different formations. If you want to play a 3 at the back, you can play Havertz as a 10. If you want to play 4 at the back, you could play Havertz as a auxiliary second striker like a Dennis Bergkamp or something of that role, not quality. Role, not quality. Role, not quality. I'm going to keep saying it until people realize role, not quality. Role,
yeah, but it's still quality. Wrong,
Role, not quality.
Just because it's Bergkamp, it's wrong. Just because
okay, fine. Say
something more realistic.
Gallagher.
Say like Jesus' role. I don't know.
Say Gallagher then. Second striker. There you go.
Okay,
Gallagher.
I accept it now.
Whichever second striker you want to put. Okay, but the point is the role is going to be of a secondary striker, not a 10, not a 9, but sort of like a 9.5, 10.5, whatever you want to call it. That sort of role. That's the point. It's not about having specific systems in terms of very concrete positions. It's about making sure that you can have fluidity in that front line, the ability to underlap from that left-hand side and provide a bit more creativity. So it's not about mentioning. This is what I hate about football fans. I swear to God, it's nothing to do with the quality.
No, but it's triggering. I understand why
it's so annoying. I'm not. I love Ram. Ram's a lovely dude, but like I swear to God, this is nothing to do with quality. If it was to do with quality, do you think I'm an Arsenal fan? Why do you think I would mention Bergkamp with Havertz? Are you mental? This is not about quality. It would be more offensive to me than anyone else. I mean, it's so annoying. It's just so. The main point is you're having a role where you have a free creative midfielder in that left half space. That's the point, and that's what we're trying to do. And he's not awful off the board either. He's not someone that's like, I don't know, and like someone that's a bit more languid, a bit more. It's just he's got awkward body positioning, and he's coaching to simplify his game. That's the point with Havertz. He needs more simplicity and to actually have a stable role where he knows what he needs to do at certain points. Because at this moment in time, from Leverkusen to now, he's just been able to do either be a 9 or just have this freedom. He just has complete freedom to do whatever the hell he wants. He needs structure and stability. That's his main problem, and it has been for years. So,
what do you think of this super chat from this Arsenal fan? How do Zinchenko, Havertz, Odegaard defend versus the Big Six? This has been my point of contention, and even you said it's a fair point of contention.
It is a fair point of contention. It is a fair point of contention.
After a couple of games where Timber, I'm bringing him up now again, once he's bedded in, I reckon he's going to have sort of like the Akanji role. So if you look at Zinchenko, I think he might have to be benched a certain number of games against the Big Six, because you know what happened against Liverpool, for example, getting nuts, and he's been a liability defensively, so to say.
I mean, you can also bring up Spurs away, where he kind of controlled the game in that first 45 minutes and really put us in a position. I think it's going to be, I think categorizing games as specific for specific people, it will be who's best for that role. And I think we do this too much where, okay, for the Big Six will be this guy, for the lower teams will be this guy. It's whoever's going to be in the best position to succeed for the game in that's coming up next. So I think Zinchenko is an interesting case. I've always said I think that we've got like 1 or 2 more years of him. I don't think he stays for long term, because I think that he will get benched again. I don't know who we bring in. I don't know if there's going to be someone else we bring in, or maybe there's someone that we don't know, or a system that we don't know. Maybe Kirill goes to, and we go back to a 3. We go to a 3 at the back, for example. I don't know what his future is, but to say that he should be benched when there's specific games where he stood up and turned up to be counted, I don't think we win Liverpool away at home without him either. So if you look
with all due respect, though, I don't think you can compare Liverpool and Tottenham. Liverpool, you've got to give them massive respect. Tottenham, I reckon you can get away with playing Zinchenko.
But the thing is, how often
controlling the game. Whereas,
it is also
when you
a
come against Liverpool, you've got to be at your A game. Whereas against Tottenham, you could sort of get away with things more, in my opinion.
But then why haven't we? We haven't for years.
We have. I mean, if you look at this season, you're looking at previous. You're looking at previous years. If you look at last season, home and away, Tottenham, we battered them.
Yes, we did.
Full control.
No, 100%.
So,
but my
so
point
you can
is,
get away with
point
playing
is,
Zinchenko, who's a little
my
bit.
My point is, but that is what. But the thing is, both those games we played Zinchenko. That's my point. I think that to say that because it's Tottenham, we should because we lost away at Tottenham last year. Obviously, the injuries and the fatigue and all the different circumstances that came into that. But again, this comes back to what I was saying earlier, to isolate specific reasons for why something is going to change or something. You have to look at things in a bigger picture, because there's just like there's too many things, there's too many factors. And I think to look at things in terms of going, okay, that's the player that we're going to go. I think we're going to have to see what's going on in preseason, because even I'm not too sure. I don't know what he's planning. Do you know what he's planning? I don't know what he's planning. I need to see
Nobody
it.
knows what he's planning.
I
Yeah,
need to see it. You can ask Kossam.
That's why I told Karan. I actually, myself, I look forward to Arsenal's first preseason.
You know, remember after the stream.
I actually just want to see like where is he gonna play everybody?
Yeah,
that's
like,
what I want.
I really like. Remember what I was saying to you after the stream. I have no idea. I spent hours. I've got this whiteboard behind me. I spent hours on that, trying to figure it out as well. Like I've no idea what he's planning, and it's going to be interesting because he could go a bit more of a De Zerbi route and try and try and bait the press and beat it that way. He can go a more Pep 3-box-3 route and go with try and replicate the KDB Haaland dynamic with a more creative player in Havertz, and then obviously a worse version of Haaland in Jesus. You're not going to replicate the same amount of goals, but the point is the roles that you're going to see you could do with something similar to that. There's so many different ways we could go about this. So it's interesting to see, and especially with Timber as well. Could he be the right centre back, right back? I think right centre back, but we'll have to see.
Okay, so now I want to just go back to the topic that first initiated this entire conversation. Before I do so, guys, as I said, make sure you're liking the video, make sure you're subscribing. Let us get to 100 likes minimum. Yalla, everyone right now, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel if you're ready to do so. Big up to 20 football for all, and here to there for the super chats. Big up to everyone who has shown us all the love and support. Make sure you're liking the video, make sure you're subscribing to this football. There's so much content coming your way. We got you entertained in this boring ass summer. We're going live twice every day, so inshallah. So make sure you like the video and look forward to the Eid Q&A as well tomorrow. So we've got so much planned, inshallah. So make sure you're liking the video, make sure you're subscribing. And let's get back to the DM of discussion. Romeo Lavia. Let's just get into it, guys. What's your thoughts on this whole Lavia situation?
I think he ends up at Chelsea, you know. You can go
You
first.
can go ahead, Karen. Yeah, go ahead.
I think he ends up at Chelsea, for real. I don't think he ends up with either of us. I think he ends up at Chelsea. I think that the connection he has with that
Chelsea, why would they end up at Chelsea if they get Caicedo, though?
But they won't get Caicedo. I still don't.
So who's getting Caicedo?
The thing is, they're not paying it.
At Brighton, you know that.
No. But the thing is, no one's paying 85 for Caicedo. Chelsea put in a 60 million pound bid. You know what Brighton are like. They will not. They won't go below their valuations.
Oh,
so if Chelsea won't put up 85, then I don't know what's going to happen with him. But I don't see. If Chelsea put up 85, fair enough. But they're putting up bids of 60 million that aren't even being quoted by people that are on Bowley's payroll. I mean, I don't understand what's going on with that, but it's strange. It's strange seeing that if you're going to pay, like they wanted Colwill, no Colwill. It's interesting. And the thing is, they have their head of development is Joe Shields, who coached Lavia at Man City, coached Lavia at Southampton, and still has strong connections there. I personally think that Caicedo is a step too far for them, just monetarily wise, because Brighton have said they won't accept the installments, so they can't do the Bowley. I'm going to pay $950 for a million years. I'm going to pay you £1 every year. Can't do that. So
night contracts.
Yeah. So let's see what he does, because I don't really see him going to Chelsea at this moment. I could be completely wrong. Clip it. I don't really know. I don't know these things. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But from what
so let me ask Hendrix's opinion on Lavia, because I have an interesting follow-up question to that opinion. Mm-hmm. Go on, Hendrix. What's your thoughts on the whole Lavia?
Me personally, we all know Chelsea have more money than sense, but personally, I don't really see him going there. I think
that's a bar right there. More money than sense. I'm running that. I'm running that one, right?
Yeah, I honestly think I don't really think Liverpool are the obviously the most optimal destination for him, in my opinion, considering your midfield, the aging Henderson, aging Fabinho, it just makes more sense for him. He'd get a hell of a lot more game time. But nowadays, I reckon signing for Chelsea, you're basically, going there to RIP your career anyway. So I think he'd like to avoid that. I can see him at Arsenal as well. I mean, if we don't get our primary targets, if we don't get Rice, we might, try to save our blushes and make it look pretty with a Lavia signing. He's an upgrade on El Neni. He would be a squad rotation player. He's not going to come in to start regardless. So he'd fit for us as well, but I reckon you lot need him way more than we do. So that makes the most sense.
And it's not even just that you need him more. It's the fact that I think he would get more game time to develop. That's the main thing. I think that's the main point I think we have to get across here. And I think you said it earlier as well. He's better than everyone bar Thiago and McAllister. You did mention McAllister.
But you know, the problem is it's not difficult being better than these two. That's the thing. Like, it's not difficult being better than like Henderson and stuff. But let me ask you the question now, Karen. Because okay, I hear what Hendricks is saying. Like they might use it as a cover up because, and I understand where Hendricks is coming from because basically it's like previous Arsenal mess up PTSD, which I have the same of, which is why I'm mad even like 5 days into the window. But let me just say this, Karen. So now here's the question that begs itself. We're saying Declan Rice is going to sign for Arsenal and Lavia is going to be the backup guy. So if Lavia doesn't sign, who's the backup guy then?
I think Lavia is the backup guy. Personally.
No. I'm saying in your world in which he goes to Chelsea.
Oh.
Who is the guy that comes in to back up then?
See, it's difficult.
Or are you saying Partey stays? That's the
No. I think that Lavia. I'm going to be honest. I think that Lavia is the backup to Caicedo. I think that we will get him, but that's the way I think it's going to happen because of the amount of sales we're doing in terms of Partey, Balogun. If we weren't selling Partey, I don't think we'd have a shot at Caicedo. I'm not saying it because screw Chelsea, they're better. We're better than them. The clock end H type thing. They're going to better project. Blah blah blah. I think just monetarily, if we sell Partey, if we're because the thing is, I don't like those kind of tweets myself. I don't get the point. Like the better project. Like who cares? Like players will decide what they. It's more than just the project. It's personal relationships, how they feel, the location, a relationship with the manager. There's not just Champions League football. That's it. I'm going to sign there for sure. You have there's personal, which is why again I think the Lavia signing for Chelsea makes more sense because I think that there's more connections for Lavia at Chelsea than there would be at Liverpool or at Arsenal.
So if Lavia ends up without, so if Lavia ends up at Chelsea, who's going to be the guy coming into Arsenal then? That's the.
I said Caicedo. I think Caicedo.
Well, you can't say that.
Why?
Say that. Because you have to say someone of Lavia's level. Caicedo is like much better than Lavia.
Which is why I keep saying Lavia is the backup.
Okay, I agree with you, Karen. But my point is,
if he's not the backup, if Lavia is the primary signing, is that what
for
you mean?
Chelsea? You mean?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with that. The same way he'd be primary for us. So I'm saying for Arsenal he'd come in as the backup. Now you're saying you think you get Caicedo, which is fair. It's not impossible for you to get Caicedo. What I'm saying is, as quote unquote the backup guy, who of Lavia's level would come in then if Lavia doesn't come in?
This is the problem because I don't like a lot of the sixes on the market. I don't like Zubimendi. I don't like.
That's the guy I was expecting you to say, Zubimendi.
I watched like 10 minutes of him and he already pissed me off within 10 minutes. The same with that Ugarte guy. I remember I tuned in specifically to Sporting versus Marseille. He proceeded to drop the worst 35 minutes I've ever seen it from a defensive midfielder.
You're going to hate on Ugarte.
Can I just make a suggestion quickly? What are your thoughts on Onana then? Maybe possibly.
This is the only guy I would say.
Yeah. Everton, Onana?
Because with Rice, you can have Onana as more of a box to box. Onana is another name I could see going Chelsea, to be honest. Like these are like I don't know, maybe it's just because of like the aesthetic, but like he feels like a Chelsea kind of player. Like he gives that confidence, that sort of like that boldness that you expect from like their midfielder SEN, Ballack, like that sort of like sort of exuberance, that sort of personality that you expect at Chelsea, that they don't really have right now. Enzo is more of a a dictator. He's a bit more calmer, and obviously he's a bit more rash in the tackle, but you don't have that sort of leader from midfield like you'd expect, like an SEN or a Makalele or something like that, where you have someone of that stature where you could just sort of see them being that leader in the midfield. They don't really have that right now. So I would say Onana's a good option. I would say obviously Lavia himself is a good option, but this is the thing. There's a lot of sixes on the market that are just sort of like okay-ish, that aren't like standing, like really like standout quality. That's why Rice is so important.
Yeah, that's why I asked you that question.
Because
Because
Rice
like
is the
the rest of the guys, low key as backups, like they're just like
eh.
Onana. I understand because Onana, I think could become it. Like he could somehow become like a unbelievable player for you, but like the rest of them, you're looking around in this market and you're like,
By the
who
way,
the hell?
check your DMs. I sent you some stuff. I sent you a couple of links.
I saw the Havertz picture.
I sent you the Simons links as well. At least 3 or 4 of them. I can't remember.
Yeah, I saw it. That's kind of the thing I want to speak on as well now at the end. But look, we'll see what happens with Lavia. I think here's the thing. You know what the problem is with Lavia? I'm gonna tell you the problem. Problem is with Lavia is he's been linked to 600 clubs already. So it's getting to the stage where like I might make a Lavia Man United show, a Lavia Liverpool show, a Lavia Chelsea show, a Lavia Arsenal. I don't know where the hell that
just
guy
make
is
a Lavia show.
Exactly. I'm gonna just do a Lavia show, get 5 guys from different clubs and just like fight over him or something. Because it's just it's insane what people are how many clubs are looking at Romeo Lavia. And to be fair, you could understand why, because his potential is his potential is up there.
But I was at the Southampton game where we drew 3-3, and it was 3-1 when he came off, and he was all over us. He was completely all over us. He came off. It went from 3-1 to 3-3 like that. It was so quick. Like
he's unbelievable.
He's very good.
Do you guys know what the situation is with City? Have they got like a buyback clause, or when is it
activated? They do. It's active next year.
No, but that buyback clause only activates if he stays at Southampton.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it activates if he stays at Southampton next year.
So if we buy him, they can't buy him back next season. No. That's theft. If they cannot do that. They
can't do that. No.
I don't know, but for some reason, I could possibly see him going back there. You know, City kind of just big broing the whole league and doing what Bayern do and just scooping up all the talent. It could possibly happen. You never know.
People are getting a bit too carried away with City right now. They're signing Gvardiol, and they've tried to get that price down to 68 million. Fabrizio is reporting from 80 something. I think that everyone's going a bit crazy. Oh, they're just gonna come in and steal Rice from us. They were meant to bid from Ornstein on Thursday. Nothing's happened. They keep saying, "Oh, we're looking to see if he's concretely interested in coming before we bid." La la la. It's just West Ham. It's legit just West Ham, just trying to basically stoke up the interest.
West Ham fans have been so annoying on social media, haven't they? Be honest, Karen. Karen's blood boiled as soon as I said
no. But the thing is, right? You guys know I've watched Rice for like 2 years, so I know quite a few West Ham fans. Like I know them quite well. They've usually been quite nice to me. It's just that one guy, that central guy. That's the one guy that has been going crazy. The rest of them, they're all right. They are what they are. I mean, I get the whole Westchester City thing is a bit annoying, but like,
it's not a bit annoying. It's the cringiest thing I've seen in my life.
I'll be honest, right? If I was like a Brentford and like one of my best players was going to like Chelsea or something, it's within London. You don't want to see that. So I understand where they're coming from with the whole thing. I think it's a bit cringy, but I understand where they're coming from in terms of like, I wanted to see him going to Manchester or to Bayern or something. I don't want to see him in another London jersey. So I understand it, but I think it's just a bit like, come on, guys. Well, what are we doing right now? It's getting a bit much. Every day, West Ham have had a better season than Arsenal. Come on, man. Let's relax. Just like, and I think
in terms of City though, wasn't Calvin Phillips also rumored away?
And then he literally said, "I'm staying at City."
Yeah.
Like,
okay, I didn't know that.
I don't know why this guy's just destroying his career. Like he played like 3 games this whole year.
No, he said that it would be wrong to come in for a treble and not at least try to get into the team. Like he had he didn't want to just come in and get the medals and go. He wanted to at least try and get into the team and try to push and get into Pep's plans again. So he's not going, and that was the only way they were going to do it. They were going to do 70 plus Phillips. Now we're just looking at basically the reports are that X guy has kept saying is that City are poised to make a bid, but they're not going to push until Arsenal have either walked away from the table or can't get a bid accepted. If Arsenal can't get a bid accepted, they'll try and see what they can do. But right now, it's just sort of like, okay, we're going to bid, but no bid, no even negotiations with.
I think
West
Calvin
Ham.
Phillips would bang at Arsenal, but he's injury prone. I think he'd bang at
No,
Liverpool.
I'm done.
By the way, just remember a year ago, Phillips versus Rice was a conversation. Don't forget that.
And I was pissed off beyond all manner of belief. I thought it was
Karen, don't block me, but I was a Phillips guy.
I know you were. I remember. Like, no, seriously, I do remember.
And then he went to City and the agenda started.
No, but the thing is, with Phillips is, I think he's okay. He's great. He's good. But like,
his problem is his injuries, I'm going to be honest with you.
Not just the injuries. Like, Rice is better defensively. Rice is better on the ball. Like
no.
Yes.
No, this is where I'd stop you.
I think so too.
Phillips is better on the ball.
He's not better on the ball.
They literally called him the Yorkshire Curl.
I won't let you get away with that, Hussein. No way.
What Leeds fans say. I don't care what they call him. Call him the Yorkshire Joker for all I care. It doesn't matter.
He's very good on the ball.
He's good on the ball, but I'm sorry, Declan Rice has proven himself to be better on the ball.
Listen,
I think the one thing I will give Phillips, he's probably better in the first third. In the first third, he's probably a bit better in terms of getting the short passing off and doing. But in terms of carrying the ball, switches, being able to be a bit more adventurous on the ball in the final 2/3, Rice has it over. The one thing I will give Phillips is he's a little bit better when he's receiving in the first third. That's all he has.
Okay, fair enough. You gave him one trait at least. And I know it, I'm going to let it go. I'm not trying to...
I don't think we need to look further than when they played for England together, in my opinion, where they were side by side and you sort of look at who, on the ball is driving, trying to make things happen. And that was Rice, Phillips was kind of staying back in. It is what it is, but come on, man. The eyes...
Hey, Hendricks, let me ask you a question. Who's better, Owen Hargreaves or Paul Scholes?
Paul Scholes, in my opinion.
Hargreaves started for England. Scholes was on the bench.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
comparing. See why we cannot use international football as a measuring stick?
Never use international football.
If we use international football as a measuring stick, all three of us should go sign Rabiot tomorrow. Because when he plays for France, he looks like Zidane. He plays for Juve, he's mid. So where do we go from here? See?
This is the thing. International football is a completely different style of football.
I love Phillips. I just wish he wasn't made from Weetabix. That's the only thing. But he just keeps getting injured. Honestly, I wish we sign him and he stays fit by some miracle. Because we would... Honestly, our midfield needs a Phillips so bad. You guys just don't know how bad we need someone who pass right and left.
I don't see the buzz about him, really. I think he's average, man. Honestly.
I hear you, but I employ Henderson. That's real average. See? That's the difference.
There we go. He's an
Phillips can play football, at least. Phillips can play football.
I mean, the thing is with Phillips is, I just think that if you look at it from like just 6-6, you would rather have Rice in your team.
100%.
Just
100%.
Like it's not even close. I think that's the end of that conversation. Because I wouldn't say. I think that just sums everything up. He's not someone that I would say is going to give you 35, 38 games at the level Rice would give you in the Premier League every week.
And by the way, you can ask my viewers. I always look at availability as an ability anyway. I recognize it as something that matters. Because if Thiago Alcantara was fit for this entire season, I wouldn't be in this position to begin with. Just one guy. So availability matters. So yeah, let's just park that to the side. Speak on final topic of the day. Because due to Karan's picture that he sent me, I'm probably going to bring him back this week alongside like 3-4 other guys to talk on the day of the announcement. I know Karan's tired of it, but this is the transfer window, unfortunately.
It is what it is.
What I need to do. I need to do a 4D chess move. I need to go get someone who just does not like the idea of Havertz at all. So we can
you tried last time.
I did, but Kunle kept getting disconnected.
And then the trouble we were saying by the end, he was like, I didn't expect this. I thought that I just hear the same nonsense narratives. I did not expect the actual reasoning would come up.
Give me a second, guys. I'm a BRB. Karan, speak on Xavi Simons until I'm back, because that's the kind of the final thing I want to touch on.
Yeah, go on. I mean, what do you think, man? I think Simons, I think it's interesting to see where he would fit. Where do you think he would fit with the PSV games?
Yeah, personally, if he were to come, I don't see any other position than that left centre midfield position. Personally, I wouldn't want anything to do with him because we've got Smith Rowe as well. You know, he hadn't played a minute last season. We've got him to come back. So I don't really see the need for him, in my opinion. But I feel like you're a fan of him. So what do you think? Would you like him at Arsenal?
If we're looking at young talents, you're looking at young talents that could actually improve the side going forward. I would rather get Goulet, if I'm honest. That would be my guy. I wouldn't like Simmons is a very nice player, but he's more a central midfielder than a winger. And if we're going to get a young player to get as a backup right now, we need a right winger. Like I would rather get someone that can play. And obviously, Goulet is more of a 10/right wing, but he can definitely play right wing. He's very good with his close control. He's very creative. He's good in possession. Obviously, he's a good dribbler. He can finish quite well. So these are the things you have to look at. And I would rather get him than someone that I would deem more of a central midfielder, as you mentioned. I think it would be more like a traditional 10-ish type player. Like you could play him on the left, play him on the right, but he could sort of play in those sort of, again, second striker roles that kind of would allow him a bit more freedom. So
yeah, that versatility is really attractive when it comes to Xavi Simons. But me personally, there's one thing I look at when it comes to transfers, and that's Premier League proven talent. I'll always go for that ahead of anyone else. You know, if you look at our previous signings, they've all been Premier League signings. You know, Trossard, Jorginho, Ramsdale, Ben White. All of these have been massive hits, and I'd like to keep going in that trend. I'm so tired of going and getting a Chamak from Bordeaux and Andre Sanchez
Giroud from Montpellier, etc.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I get that, but
a gamble compared to getting someone who's actually done the dirt and the proof's in a pudding, in my opinion.
The way I would look at any window is, and this is what we've done last summer as well. We get 4 players that are going to be senior quality straight out, and then you take a gamble on a bit of potential. I think as long as you get the squad quality in that you need for the season, and you still have like 15 million, 20 million hanging about, get someone that could really, if the upside goes, he goes. Like he's someone that will start for a long run. Like Fabio Vieira last season. Like what I mean? Like someone that the gamble is going to be there, but you gamble on Arteta's ability to coach and find out where he can play on the pitch. And then
but don't you think that gamble kind of cost us though? Because me personally, I'm of the opinion that Fabio Vieira, because of signing him, he sort of led to our downfall towards the end of the season. As in, for example, against Sporting, why play him? If you would have had a Premier League proven player who's actually done the dirt, a la, I don't know, Onana, just an example, it would have been a different story. This guy he's new to the league.
But the thing is, the specific game you bring up was against Sporting. He played for Porto. If there was one game that you would expect him to play, and this is one Mikel more than anything else. I can't think
of the other games he played.
My point is
no Fabio Vieira right now.
My point is that Mikel.
They call him Teabag, your fan base.
Yeah, exactly. Teabag.
My point is Mikel himself has said he didn't use his squad enough last season, and he needs to be able to look at his squad. If he's buying a Fabio Vieira, which, by the way, you look at the amount of chances created, the amount of time he actually played, his ability to find that final ball, he's very good at that. It's the fact is that he needs to be more. He needs to bulk up in the gym first of all. He needs a bit more strength. I'm not going to lie, he's not finished the unfinished article even slightly. But there, as I said just before Sam came back, the whole point is it's about if you have the ability to take a gamble on someone that might come off really well. You take that. Same happened with Lokonga. Like this guy hasn't come good either. And we're looking.
But you've got to look at the fee though for Lokonga. He was worth what 10, 12 million. I mean 20 million. You can afford to
17,
make that.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah,
and
you can afford to make that kind of signing.
Even Vieira was what 35 million. I don't think that's going to be.
That is quite substantial, in my opinion. When you look at
but the thing is, if you look at the way that we've integrated him this year, if you look at him, if you give me a year's time and you say to me he's still crap, then fair, we've been messed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's had a year, he's had time to adapt. He has to step up this season, and if he still hasn't stepped up, then we're going to have to move on and call it a failure. But the fact is that we're looking at players and looking at them in a window, I think we have to look at them for see. And this is the thing. The same thing we're saying about Pepe. Pepe showed up to be not a good signing. So these things go the other way as well. But you still have to be consistent and say, look, for every
I think it was
signing.
hard to judge, really, Pepe. But yeah, and that's
Another concept. But
let me tell you my problem with. Look, here's the thing. I just moving away from Fabio Vieira a little bit. Just back on Xavi Simons. Let me tell you my problem with the Xavi Simons one. I think he could be one of them players who got too much too soon. As in, I'm questioning mentality, motivation. That's what I'm questioning, not football ability.
like a Depay sort of thing.
Because he was at Paris Saint-Germain, which is well known as the most toxic, worst environment for football players. As in, the footballers are divas and celebrities, and they do whatever the hell they want. And he was there at a young age as well. And I think, like, for me, the thing is with Xavi Simons, I look at him and I'm like, is he one of them footballers who just got too much too soon and maybe doesn't have the mentality or the motivation levels to fight, for example, for a first team spot at Arsenal?
Remember, this guy was captain at La Masia as well.
Yes.
This guy is, he's not like,
his name is Xavi, to be fair.
No, but the point is we're looking at, when you talk about mentality, talk about the attitude. This guy is like, growing up was thought to be like a leader. He was thought to be like someone that was, I think he's not adjusted well to being the young kid coming in. I think that's his problem. He's used to being, you know, the guy, you know,
Yes.
like that's the problem he's facing. The talent's definitely there. The question is for us, as I was saying earlier, I don't really see where we have a spot. I would rather get Arda Güler if we're going in that sort of route. I mean, obviously Real are interested now, but we've shown interest as well. So it's interesting to see what we plan to do. It'll be interesting to see because the thing is with I've said for a long time now, from probably since September, 4 signings and then we'll see. I think that was always going to be the window. I think it was going to be a debate whether it would be 1 centre midfielder and 1 forward or 2 centre midfielders. Since Xhaka's going, it'll be 2 centre midfielders. Defensive signings.
So you agree essentially it's going to be Rice, Havertz, Timber. So it's just the 4th guy that is a conversation, basically.
Where are you counting Havertz though? As a forward signing or a midfield signing?
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm saying the 4 signings. You've got these 3. So the 4th signing is the one where you're having a conversation as to who you need more.
Correct. The thing is, I think the 4 to me is 2 centre midfielders, Havertz, because I view Havertz as more of a forward line signing than specifically a midfield signing, and then another central midfielder. So Rice, Timber, Havertz, and a central midfielder. And then if we have enough space for a 5th, like a young signing or something like that, like we did last summer with Vieira or Lokonga, etc., maybe a 5th. But 4 concrete signings, and then we'll see. That is what I've said for the longest time. It's just that I didn't know whether it would be 2 centre midfielders or 1 centre midfielder and 1 forward, because a lot of the time we were talking about whether Marcelli would go up forward, where we could go to Marcelli, go wide and get a striker in. These kind of issues. Was this the year to go big on a striker or a forward signing? Whereas next year there's time to go big on a forward signing. And I think next year will be the time to go big on a forward signing because we need to reinforce our midfield. And we scored quite a few goals, 88 goals in the league last season. So why go massive on a striker when we need to reinforce the midfield very, very urgently, given the age of our midfield? So we need to get new players in.
And Hendrix, your thoughts on this transfer before we wrap up?
Simons, you mean?
Yes.
Like I said to Karen while you were out, personally, I'm not about it. I'm not feeling it. We've got Smith Rowe, who's sort of a forgotten man, in my opinion. I reckon I'd, put my stocks in his basket instead of going and getting, talent from abroad. I've had enough. You've got to have quality. If you really want to compete with City, you can't be taking chances, in my opinion. You've got to stick to what you know and go get talent. If we were to get talent, if not, I'd rather stay with ESR.
Okay, that's fair. That's a fair enough take. And I stick by my opinion. I think Xavi Simons' problem is probably his attitude, as said earlier on. So, guys, at this moment in time, we will wrap up I was about to say the final Arsenal transfer video, but we know that's a lie. Ain't nothing final because there's more videos coming up. I suspect if like Havertz signs for Arsenal, I'm probably gonna have to do a show the day he's announced as well. So
It'll be
we're gonna
tomorrow,
have
most likely.
another Havertz video.
It's going to be tomorrow, most likely, as well. So there's already pictures of him in the kit. So I would assume it's not going to be far off.
I'd assume the announcement is coming anytime soon. So I'm gonna try to get 4 or 5 Arsenal fans just talk.
By the way, guys in the comments, make sure you spam Barella, spam these guys in the comments for Sam, because he's gonna have to talk about this in a couple of hours. So make sure you get in the comments and talk about Barella.
I can confirm I'm not going to be speaking about Barella. I'm actually going to be speaking about Lavia, actual targets. That's like saying I'm going to get Rihanna. We know something going to happen. She's with ASAP Rocky. Anyway, everyone watching us right now or on the replay, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribing to This Is Football if you're ready to do so. As Karan said, I'm going to be back 11:15 p.m. UK time, inshallah. Liverpool video today. So we're going to discuss that at night. And we'll see what we have with you for you guys as the days keep coming by, because we've got a Q&A as well coming your way. So there's so much stuff happening. So make sure you hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel. The road to 15K continues. Like the videos, share the videos, all of that good stuff. So we're going to go to the lovely panelists that are going to let you know where you can find them. Karan, where can people find you, my brother?
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Karan BOP. You can obviously all the links are in the link tree on the bio as well. So do feel free to check in articles, videos, all kinds of things are coming. Even a Havertz comp tonight. So it'll be interesting to see when he gets announced. So yeah, big up. Thanks for both of you for having a nice conversation, and see it. Get everyone in at 11:15. Talk about Barella some more.
This guy is not. You know what? I'm not going to say it. Hendricks. Great debut, my brother. Just like Shaka's debut, where can the people find you, my brother?
Yes, handle is Hendricks AFC on Twitter. Same on TikTok. Going to be posting soon. So yeah, hit that follow button. I'd like to also say thank you to Sam for having me on. You know, top man, big fan. So yeah, thank you. Thank you to Karan as well. Lovely speaking to you, brother. And yeah, guys, make sure you sub up and like up the video. Support.
Big up, big up,
There
big up. Thanks so much, Hendricks. Great debut, man. Great debut today. Yeah. Big up to Karan as well. As always, back again. Probably going to see his face back on the channel. Hendricks' face back on the channel, maybe just as quick as tomorrow. Because Havertz, I can't lie to you guys, bro. This Havertz thing. You know what? I need to get some guys. I need to today might have a job. My job is to go find the Arsenal fans that despise the idea of Havertz and like absolutely hate it, and just get them on a show with Karan and Hendricks and others and Igal, the guys who like it. You know, that's what I'm gonna do.
Like is strong. Accept it.
Accept it. So make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, come back 11:15, and we'll see you guys later, inshallah. Peace out.